The past can wear like chains. It's really true. And for the first time in my years in Japan, I really may have a sense of what it must be like for some Japanese to carry the mantle of their progenitors and have the burden of the traditions to maintain and the like. I was walking through a valley up here, taking a hike, and I came across an old household. And out in front there was an ornamental shrine, ornamental pine tree, not a shrine, ornamental pine tree, reaching up over the threshold to the grounds there. It's kind of like this. And there was a man, an old man, up on a ladder, and he was clipping, clip, and that, trimming the pine. And that pine, it must be generations old. I mean, it was very, very ancient old tree, very gnarled. You see them often in old households here in Japan. The compounds will have these ornamental pines that hang over the front. And he was out there clipping away at the darn thing, and it's biting desperately cold today out here. And he had this look on his face like he definitely did not want to be out there trimming that tree. Yet, it needs to be done. Yet, it needed to be taken care of. And I don't know why it had to be taken care of today, but it's winter, it's going to be cold every day, so maybe it just had to do it. And after I walked past and I left it, I was thinking about that old man out there clipping away, and it dawned on me that for many Japanese, being a part of this ancient culture carries with it many obligations similar to the obligations that man has to come out and take care of and tend to the ancient pine that his father took care of, that his grandfather took care of. And in that particular household, it's quite likely that his great-grandfather or someone else even further beyond took care of. Basically, basically the lineage of the past, the heritage of the past, carrying forward, being passed one generation along the next, with the obligations and responsibilities that go with it. Now, that struck me, because it's often been a curiosity to me that with so many foreigners that I talk to, when they talk about Japan, they have a great sense of reverence and awe for the traditions and the character of the Japanese people. And I have that as well. I share that. That's something we have in common. Yet, however, very few Japanese that I've ever met will express the same sentiment. Now, perhaps that's in part due to the Japanese natural modesty when they're talking about their own culture, and I think that does explain a good portion of it. But I also think that some of it may be due to the fact that the Japanese know the experience of being an ancient culture in ways different than any foreigner will. And their culture may in fact be different from other ancient cultures. Maybe not as far different from Far Eastern cultures, but maybe different from European cultures. And this has a lot to do with the relative strength of the cultural bonds that hold people here in Japan to the life courses that they so often do not have choices over, that they simply have to make and follow, often without too much input on their own interests. And when that's the case, sometimes the Japanese may view the responsibilities of their long history and the heritage of their long past more as a duty than as a benefit or a boon. And to the Western eye, however, when we look at this, I think what happens for a lot of Westerners, we see what exists in Japan as an opportunity for help for us in some cases. For some of us, the freedoms that our own cultures offer, that they grant us, leave us a little bit lost. Here comes the wind again. Can you hear it blowing in the bamboo? It's going to hit any moment. Ooh, it's cold. But here it is. Ooh, the freedoms that we have are sometimes a hindrance. I'm going to hunker down here. Insofar as they don't limit us. They leave us lost. Some of us are incapable of functioning. Too many choices and too many options. And our own cultures may do that to us in some ways. And what we see in Japan is guidance in many ways. So this may in part explain why, for the foreign eye, Japan is a land of opportunity to find our way. Whereas in Japan, for the Japanese, in many cases, Japan is a land of obligation. Just a few thoughts to have as the day wears down on this Christmas Day 2010, and I'm going to head on back to my family now. So I think there's a lot to think of all around the world this day about a lot of different things, including just one little minor thought about life in Japan. Take care, everybody.